What's up, guys? Today I want to start a new show. This is my movie news show. I don't know why I've never really gotten super into doing the movie news thing, but I think it's for a few reasons. Is that movie news tends to be majority negative and stuff like that. Um, but I did want to start doing a movie news show every week, just gathering the stories I care about. So if there are stories that I don't include in this video, it's either because I didn't see them or I just generally do not care. Like, I'm not going to talk about the Minecraft casting news or things like that or whatever. I'm mostly just going to be talking about the stuff I care about. Let's start with the first thing I want to do with this show. So every week I want to do talking about what's new to the theaters and what I recommend that you go watch, and then some box office predictions. So this week there isn't a lot of new movies. However, some theaters, this is a Fathom event screening, are showing The Wizard of Oz for its 85th anniversary this year. That is this weekend. I believe it's Sunday and Monday. So I recommend going to do that if you haven't done that. If you haven't seen that movie in a theater, because I don't know. That's one of those ones where I really recommend doing it because I love that movie. Just rewatched it and recorded a video. I'll have out Wednesday. But if you really genuinely love that movie and you've never had an opportunity to see it on the big screen, go do it. But also don't feel too bad if you can't do it, because Wizard of Oz is a classic movie. It'll get re-released over and over again. So, like, I'm not going to have time to go do that this weekend. I got work and things like that. But I don't really feel too bad about it because I know it's going to be re-released at some other point. I'll probably do it then. Yeah. The other thing I'll recommend that is not getting a lot of publicity. In fact, when I went to go watch it last night, the theater wasn't very filled. And that made me very sad, is Queen Montreal. This is a IMAX concert. It's an old Queen concert. It's been released before. You could actually buy a Blu-ray of it, I believe. But they remastered it to IMAX, and I will tell you, I sat in this theater at a giant-ass IMAX screen. It was almost $30 for a ticket, which is like, yikes. That's ridiculous for what this movie is. Because at least with the Taylor Swift thing, that felt like an event, and it felt like, okay, I'm getting something. And that's an actual new concert movie, where this is an older concert that's being re-released on IMAX screens. The price was ridiculous, but but this it is just a concert. It's not like a documentary or anything concert movie, because some that's I think thing looked gorgeous. It actually felt like watching. It actually felt like as if I was at a Queen concert, like in person, and audience was loving it. The few people that were there. So if you really, really love Queen, you should go see this in IMAX. I mean, especially if you're someone like me. I've, only been around on this planet so long, right? And unfortunately, it was not during the time that Freddie Mercury was a living person. So I've never seen, a Queen concert in person, and I'll never get that opportunity to see the whole band. I'm sure I'm sure I can see Brian May and some of the other members, but take this as your opportunity to kind of knock that off your bucket list in a way. Not actually, because R.I.P. Freddie's no longer with us, but still, incredible experience. If you're a Queen fan, go do that. And yeah. Also, the other thing that's new to the box office this week is Poor Things. I just saw it today. I have my review up, or not. I don't have it up. I will have it up next week, next Friday. So stay tuned for that. ISS. This is like a space horror movie. I've heard decent things. Don't know too much else about it. I'm gonna go check that out after work on Monday, and I'll have a review up next Friday for that as well on my second channel. So, in terms of things new to streaming, Hazbin Hotel just dropped on Amazon Prime and things like that. Watched the first episode, it was pretty good, but yeah. So that's kind of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. So some box office predictions. I predict that Poor Things will actually do pretty solid because this movie is finally getting. This movie has had a lot of publicity, to say the least, and I think people are really curious about this one. I noticed when I went to go see it, the theater was not super packed. It actually was pretty low, and it's no, it was actually sorry. The opposite is what I meant to say. I noticed the theater was more full than usual. Audience attendance was pretty good, and yeah, and they all seem to really enjoy this movie. So there's that. I think that's going to be at least within the top three of the box office. And then I do think my other prediction for this week is that I think Mean Girls is going to have a pretty huge drop off because I work at a theater and I can tell you so many people were confused about this one being a musical. And now that the word has gotten out that this film is a musical, a lot of those people are just not going to be happy or wanting to see this movie. They're going to just back off. They're just like, nope, I don't want to see that. And so, you know, because a lot of the people coming to see this movie, they thought it was a remake of the original. They went to go see it, and I think word's going to get out. It had a good opening weekend, but I do think that's just because of the kind of movie it is and the marketing leading people to believe it's something else. I mean, I think if it wasn't a musical, that movie might have made 50 million open weekend. I'm not even lying about that. I really think that. So I think this was a bad decision on Paramount's part to not make this movie necessarily, but to market it in the way they did. I mean, it worked out for them in the short term, but this weekend is going to be a pretty huge drop off. So yeah, that's kind of what I think on that. In terms of the movie news, there really isn't a lot. It does seem like the major story that I did want to talk about real quick was Alec Baldwin got indicted for some gun charges involving the murder that happened, unintentional murder anyways. I don't know all the legal terms or whatever, but but it basically got indicted. Seems like he probably might end up serving some jail time. I love Alec Baldwin, so this kind of hurts a little bit, but at the same time, I think we all knew something was coming with this. The dude was a producer on this project and had a lot of involvement on this project, not just starring in it. And so there was a lot of negligence around the set and things that he was involved with and not taken care of. And the worst thing about this whole incident that people don't even realize, apparently from what I've heard, someone can correct me on this if I'm wrong, so don't take it from complete fact, but he unfortunately how do I say this? So when the gun got fired, he was playing with the gun on the set, but apparently the scene that they were getting ready to shoot didn't even require a gun, and that makes the whole situation a lot worse and make it more even worse negligence charges, I would assume, if I was a judge looking at this case, if that is true. I don't know all the details of that, but I think that probably is true. So I think there's a reason as well that we have not seen Alec Baldwin try to make other movies and do other things. I think this dude knows that he's probably going to jail and he's trying to keep quiet and see how the situation plays out for him. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to play out well. So it really sucks, but I genuinely do not like that. So yeah. Other thing that's pretty big news. This has been making the rounds for a little bit, but I still want to talk about it because I haven't had a chance to talk about it. Marvel Netflix shows are canon to the MCU. It seems like a big, nice thing for Marvel fans. First of all, I don't really understand why this wasn't a thing in the first place. I get that they're more mature rated content, but I don't know. I feel like what people don't realize is Disney's really weird about getting into mature content, even though I believe it was Walt Disney's son was president of the Disney company for a while, or at least heavily involved in it. And even he agreed that they needed to branch the company out into adult projects. That's why he helped create Touchstone and Buena Vista Pictures or whatever it's called. Um, and so, like, and especially nowadays, it's actually been proven that more single household people have Disney Plus accounts compared to ones with kids. I think that also just shows where we're at in America, where a lot of people aren't necessarily choosing to become parents, which is fine. That's their decision. It is what it is. I think there are concerns that we could address in America to maybe optimize some of that a little bit, but we're not here to get into any of that. But what I'm saying is, Disney venturing into more mature content like Echo and Deadpool 3 and other content will only benefit them in the long run with fans. And I'm not even just talking about with Marvel. I feel like they could try and make a very mature Star Wars show. I mean, the closest thing we've got is Andor, but I could see them trying to do something else. I don't know if they'll do that, though, because George Lucas has famously said Star Wars is for kids, and I feel like there might be some uproar and backlash, but we'll see how that goes. But I think so many of these projects would be very healthy to go that route. So yeah, I think that's all really good. Other thing I saw, I don't know if I'm gonna go do this, but Dune 2, is being reissued in IMAX. This Tuesday, but I'm trying to look at my count. Oh, sorry, Wednesday. I believe it's the 24th. You can check and see your theaters near me. So I don't know if I'm gonna do this because so if you go see this movie in theaters, doing an IMAX, the first one anyways, not the 80s movie, the first one that ties into the new one coming out, just so I can be very clear on that, because I don't know, I didn't see, my theater didn't seem to have it. There's only one theater that has an IMAX screen, but it's possible they just hadn't posted showtimes yet, so I'll keep checking. If I get an opportunity to go, I will probably do that. I may not, because it is a very long movie. Dune is about a 3-hour movie, and I'd have to get a ride home, just because I take the bus, and bus don't usually run that late. I don't know if I'll do it, but I think it's really cool for people who missed out. I really hope that when Dune 2 actually does release, that there will be double feature showings of the first two, in the same way that when Black Panther came out, there were double features of 1 and 2 put together. And, Incredibles 2 did that, and some other movies have done that. I think that's a smart idea. They should absolutely do that. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. But if you didn't get a chance to see Dune in IMAX, it's coming back to IMAX. I don't know why it's only for one day. It feels like it should be more. Also, I was trying to see if they were also going to do some giving out posters. They really should, right? I feel like it's kind of weird. I go to a lot of these fan events, early screenings, other things like that, and sometimes they don't give you posters and things like that, and it's like, but like, I'm a fan, and the whole point is like, you're trying to get me to be all buzzy about it. Well, if you give me free stuff, that's going to help with the promotion a little bit. Not that I need a free poster. You can see I got plenty of posters behind me on the wall there, but what I'm saying is, I feel like that's weird if they don't, but yeah, that's going to be tight. The reason I never saw Dune in theaters, honestly, is kind of interesting. I'll share this story a little quick, and then we'll get into the next story. So the reason I never saw Dune in theaters was because back when I started my job, it was 2021, Max had just announced that they're doing all the day and date theater releases. And it was a lot. So what I would just do is I would come home from work on Thursday nights or whatever, and I would stay up till midnight, because I usually had to work the weekends. That was my main thing. I had to work weekends, right? I'd stay up till midnight, and I'd watch the movies that came out on Max. And then when I was done, I would record a review and then go to bed to get up early for work. It was really convenient that way, because I kind of was weird about using my free tickets from work at the time, but I wanted to be the one at work who had basically seen the newest movie before anybody else. So that's why I would do that, and I would go, wake up, turn on the movie, and it all worked out really well for me. I'd do that. Uh, but it didn't. But I don't know. But I was really stupid. Did not go see Dune. I wouldn't have seen it in IMAX. I wasn't big on IMAX back then. Now I'm a more big on IMAX. I don't like going a lot just because IMAX is expensive. Like that Queen ticket I told you was like almost $30, but here where I live is about like 16 to $18. So it's like it's really stupid. But yeah, that's why I didn't see Dune in IMAX. That's why I want to go to this, but I'm not sure if I am. I really don't think I am, just because like I don't know if I can sit there that long in an IMAX screen and still get a right home. But we'll see. Also, it's like $18 for a ticket for a movie I could just watch at home. And that's what I was planning to do, is watch it at home and do a video, because I can review the Doom movies. Anyways, the last story I wanted to talk about is Godzilla Minus One is finally getting its black and white cut released in theaters, which I will definitely be seeing. I'm hoping all the theaters get it. In my area, I only saw one that had it listed, but I don't think it's just going to be one, knowing what's going on. I don't know why Toho and Japan were like arguing about releasing this here in the States. Godzilla Minus One was a huge hit. I think people want to see the black and white cut. And yeah, I think this will be really cool to see. I will definitely be reviewing the black and white cut, though, even though the movie will just be in black and white. But, there are some movies where this really does add. I think some people question how much it really does add. I will tell you, I saw Nightmare Alley in black and white, and the only difference between cuts is that Nightmare Alley was in black and white, and I will tell you that movie was significantly improved by the black and white cut, and I've been waiting for Disney to release the black and white cut on 4K Blu-ray, and they just have not, and that really, really fucking infuriates me, but I feel like Godzilla Minus One might be helped by that. Oh yeah, one last thing, a couple more stories I actually want to mention before I get out of this. Hayden Christensen is rumored to be the voice of Shadow. I don't know how I feel about that. I'll wait and see if he is the voice of Shadow, and actually wait for like a trailer to come out. It seems weird that they actually haven't announced who's playing Shadow, because wouldn't the movie be done? Or are they still filming Sonic 2? I know they got delayed for the strikes, but I thought they'd be farther along with that. Also, there's also apparently at Paramount, they are working on a Shadow the Hedgehog movie. This is actually more confirmed than the other rumor I just mentioned, so don't take the Hayden Christensen thing so seriously. That sounds cool to me, because, I mean, that sounds like cool. And it's not going to be like the Knuckles thing, which the Knuckles thing is a show that should have already come out. It was actually supposed to come out last year, but strikes. So yeah. But the Shadow movie sounds cool. I think my issue with all these Sonic things is like, I want to see how these spin-offs are, because the Sonic movies are fine. They're fun movies, but like, I don't know how I feel like Shadow riding around with humans, or fucking Knuckles riding around with humans, because I can't imagine the Knuckles show is gonna be like Knuckles riding around with humans, or not riding around with some humans, because I don't think they're gonna put that much CGI money into it, and so who knows. But yeah, Shadow seems the easier choice, because Shadow is a super popular character. He's got his own mainline games, and there's a lot of rich backstory from Sonic nerds, from what I hear. I don't actually fucking know the real Sonic lore. The only Sonic lore I know are the ones from the cartoons, and none of the cartoons are that great, though I do want to do some videos on some of the Sonic cartoons before the new Sonic movie comes out, but I might just save that for when Sonic 4 comes out and just talk about the Sonic movies. We'll see. So there's that. And then the other rumor is apparently a Madam Web Andrew Garfield was set to appear in the movie, but then Andrew Garfield backed out because he doesn't want to be in a project that's not with the MCU being involved or Marvel Studios, which makes sense because, I mean, duh, like the dude was screwed over by Sony last time. The dude was promised these things. He clearly doesn't want to be thrown around again. I mean, because the thing is about Andrew Garfield, even though I don't like his take on Spider-Man, you can tell the dude is genuinely passionate about the character and being the character and stuff. So, it's kind of like Bruce Campbell, who plays Ash. He talks about how, like, he doesn't want to be Ash anymore because he was jerked around so many times. I can understand if Andrew Garfield is starting to feel the same way, right? So, there's that. And then Tom Holland was going to be in it instead of Andrew Garfield, but then they decided not to put him in the movie because the new Madam Web movie is set before any of the other Spider-Mans were born, which is just like, the fuck? Like, how do you make this movie and not think of that? Like, I don't fucking understand Sony. So, I actually do believe these rumors. I think after Morbius, Sony is really desperate for a Spider-Man to be in one of these projects, but all the projects... So here's what I think. I think when they were planning these movies out, they hadn't planned they hadn't... This is the early stage of development of Madam Web, Venom, and Kraven. Here's what I think. So they were trying to figure out when to set these movies and make these movies all connect to each other, right? And so in the original plan, they didn't know when the movies were going to be set. And so they were going to put a Spider-Man in it. But then when they got to really breaking down each movie, they decided, no, these movies are set in the past. So what I think is Venom 3, Morbius, including Morbius in this, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter are all set in the past. And whatever Spider-Man is canon in this weird fucking Sony-verse is years later from now. That seems really fucking stupid of them to make this universe like that, but this is why there should not be a fucking Sony Marvel universe. That's my theory. Fuck this shit. I don't know why they're doing this, but yeah, that's what I think. I think Madam Web is going to bomb. I think Valentine's Day is a fucking terrible release date for this movie. I don't know why they're not putting it out the first week of February. I know there's Argyle there, but like fucking Argyle, I don't think that shit will make money. I want to see Argyle. It looks really good, and I'll do a video on it. I reviewed the book, right? But that doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't know why Sony's making these fucking weird-ass decisions. But yeah, and then the last story I wanted to talk about, man, I didn't realize how much I wanted to talk about this week. Clone High Season 2, not Clone High Season 2, but Season 2 of the newer series, right? Comes out February 2nd, I believe, or 1st. Whatever. I enjoyed the first season of Clone High. I know a lot of people, the first new season of Clone High, anyways. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I know some people really didn't, but I think those people are entitled to their opinion or whatever, but like I liked it, and I will definitely be reviewing that on my second channel. I really enjoy Clone High, and I can't wait to talk about more of this show. It is goofy to me though, with how much people kind of hate the new Clone High, right? And yet it still has more seasons and more episodes than the original run of the show, which is just fucking goofy. But yeah, I don't know, guys. There wasn't a lot of movie news this week, but I do want to kind of share all that. And I think next week we'll probably look at my box office predictions for this weekend. And we'll kind of go over how much I was right or straight up wrong, because I could be fucking wrong too. And yeah, we'll see how that goes.